Having each user's preferences gives us trade-offs of how we can select the matching. So far, we have seen two ideas. We could try to select a matching of maximum total value, or we can use prices. And what we're going to talk about today is how these two relate to each other. And in fact, we will see that prices are magically, automatically also maximizing value. So they work very nice hand in hand. Let's recall how prices work and how they relate to the value. So here is, in our example from last time with Shin, Yoram, and Zach, and 3 items, here is the maximum total value matching we found with a total value of 25, consisting of 10, 9, and 6 going to the 3 different people. Alternately, we thought about prices of pricing items A and B at 2 and C at 0, and with the prices came the net values, the remaining value for one of the users. If there's a price of 2 on an item, is the original value minus the price 2 that he or she had to pay. With these prices, we set up a preferred buyer-seller graph, which again was connecting everyone to their favorite item. And we found that these are market clearing. There's a way to assign each of the items, each of the buyers to their favorite item or one of their favorite items. And that got us a matching, as we can see. And now we want to think about the total value of this matching. Now, actually, value here comes in 2 parts. For buyers, I'm tempted to take the net value, that is, the original value minus the price they paid. But we also will take into account the seller's value, which, of course, is the prices that they collected for the items. So the net values for the buyers now is only 8, 6, and 7. In contrast, the seller's values is, the price is 2, 2, and 0. And if I add this up, I end up with the same 25 we had. In fact, we actually even have the same matching here for market clearing prices. So the question we're asking is, how do market clearing prices relate to the total value? And is it an accident that here we ended up with the same number? Or is it generally true that when we find market clearing prices, they do a good job of maximizing the total value in addition to resolving conflict? To think about this, I want to think of the total value the way we already have been thinking about it, consisting of 2 parts, the value for the seller and the value for the buyer. In a market clearing situation, the seller value is the easy part to think about. Whatever the matching is, whether we think about our market clearing matching M or some alternate matching, which I might call M prime, the prices are always the same, and in a market clearing matching, we assigned every item to someone, so every buyer collects its price. So the total value of the sellers is indeed the sum of all the prices. The buyer's values are harder to think about because in different matchings, buyers get different items, and they have different net values for each of the items they get. So in thinking about the buyer's net values, let's focus on a single buyer, say Zach in our example. He is buyer J, to use a notation. And I want to think of his net value. So in the market clearing matching, he got maybe item I, and his net value for the item is the value for Zach's value for item I minus the price he had to pay. In some alternate matching M prime, he got something else. Let's call that other thing I prime. And in I prime, he also has a net value. It's his value for this other item I prime minus the price of I prime that he might have to pay for this. Now remember, our original matching M is market clearing, so everyone gets one of their favorite item. So Zach's value for item I, or net value for item I, is at least as big as his value for item I prime. That's what made the original matching market clearing. So we have an inequality where I's value, Zach's value for I is at least as big as Zach's value for I prime. And now all we have to do is not just focus on Zach, but add up these values for all the buyers and discover that the sum of the buyer's value in the market clearing matching, in which everyone got their favorite item, is at least as big as the net value from any other matching where some of them might have gotten items that they actually like less. So this was the proof. We just proved that a market clearing matching is automatically maximizes the total value. We got this by separately thinking of the seller's and buyer's value and realizing that the seller's value is always fixed, it's just the prices, and the buyer's value is maximized when they each get their favorite item. So market clearing prices sound very, very nice. They resolve conflicts and they maximize total value. There's one important question we still need to ask. Are they guaranteed to exist? In the example before, I simply put down some prices, this 2, 2, and 0, and they turn out they're magically market clearing. But we haven't generally thought about the question of, are market clearing prices always guaranteed to exist? And that's what we're going to look at next.